Next up, the rise of eSports and the cultural effect, the global phenomenon, passionately engaged millennials in this sport. Start talking about age demographics and the like. The generation that's grown up on playing video games, like myself starting with Pong, they're coming through it now, and where they go as they mature. We welcome back to our panel to moderate Dr. Janelle Wells from the University of South Florida, the co-author and editor with Dr. Michelle Harrell of the Business of eSports, and her panel of 5 in all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone. So we've talked about the business, we talked about the ecosystem, and now we're going to focus on the culture. So I'd like to introduce our panelists. First up, we have Marcou, who is the Madden Commissioner of Competitive Gaming, EA Sports, Madden, NFL. Clap. Yeah, clap it out for Matt. Next we have Ryan DeVos, the Director of Magic Gaming, Orlando Magic 2K team. Then we have Eryn McVerry, the VP of Marketing and Content from Vision Ventures Partners. And last but not least, we have Tim Anselimo, the player for the Cavs Legion NBA 2K team. So I'd first like to set the stage by a quote. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. While this phrase originated from Peter Drucker, it was made famous by someone else, the president of Ford. So with that, what I'd first like to do is, in 140 characters, which is now 280 characters, tell me, what does your title mean? What do you do?
Yeah, I am the Commissioner of Madden Competitive Gaming. It's everything you might think it is, but there's a lot of details you wouldn't think. I'm overall responsible for the health of the product, so the integrity of the competitions, the player experience, the ability to design something for both spectators as well as players, sponsorships, broadcast quality, etc. There's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, I'm really the keeper of both the business, but more importantly, as a gamer myself, who started as a competitor and team manager, for me, the topic of culture and creating that fun experience that's accessible is very, very important. It's hard to display that just in numbers alone.
So as the Director of Magic Gaming, my day-to-day responsibilities really are around initially launching Magic Gaming and also looking to grow the Orlando Magic eSports portfolio across the board. So I was looking at expansion opportunities and how we can further deepen ourselves into the space.
Eryn?
I'm Eryn McVerry, VP of Marketing and Content from Vision Venture Partners. Nobody knows what that is. It's a private equity firm in the entertainment esports space. I head all brand marketing content that we do. We'll be launching a new digital entertainment network in Q4, and prior to that, within the different properties that we have, from a team to a league to an actual entertainment studio, leading all, again, brand marketing and content from those properties. Tim.
How you guys doing? Tim. I'm the captain of Cavs Legion GC 2K League team. From here, live here half the year, other half of the year in Cleveland. Recent ESPY award winner this summer for best esports moment. And yeah, we just compete. And yeah, we compete. We travel to New York City, play our games. Tournaments in Vegas, here in Orlando, so I just wanted to make sure that the information on the day in the life of a player, things like that, aren't misunderstood from people that are learning about this different business and this different venture.
Well, thank you. So we want to understand culture, particularly pop culture. But before we discuss esports, so recognizing the buzz, it's across generations, mediums, pop culture is constantly evolving and changing throughout place and time. So I ask each of the panelists, I want you to think of a time that is relevant to you. So take us back in time. What do you remember about pop culture?
I'll tie it to gaming. I think some people have seen the meme of those kids at Christmas opening up the Super Nintendo and cheering, yes, yes. That was me. That was my childhood. So I've lived those moments, and it warms my heart. I always try to figure out how we can, gaming is becoming a booming business, but coming back to why, how we all got started here. Really, was the love for playing games, the love of connecting with people.
Yeah, so personally, as Matt said, very much gaming focused. N64 was kind of my Christmas moment, and super excited to jump in there. But with a pretty strong basketball background, a lot of my memories growing up tied back to Magic games and just the NBA in general. And I think as we look at 2K League and the NBA, we're uniquely positioned from a pop culture standpoint. So it's an exciting opportunity for us.
I'm going to go in a totally different direction. Michael Jackson's glove. I just remember that as being such the coolest thing from the music perspective back in the day. So that was one I think is really cool. I think for me as a female, Sex and the City was something that I completely, I can remember every line of that movie, or if not the movie, the television show. So I don't have a gaming moment, but I think from a pop culture perspective, it really transcends, everything from gaming to fashion to music.
I think for myself, it's because I grew up playing high school basketball in New York City. I played against guys who are in the NBA now, Kemba Walker, Maurice Harkless, things like that. And the love for basketball kind of just transitioned to picking up a controller and playing NBA 2K when it came out on the second Dreamcast. And eventually playing it so many years, you feel like you're the best, and then you compete in small tournaments, and then our leagues announce, and you pursue it thinking, what's the worst to happen? I don't make it. And here I am 3 years in, living a dream with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and just making sure that everyone knows that it is possible.
So now focusing specifically on eSports, when did gaming become relevant?
Gaming, as far as it being relevant, I think it's always been around. Every kid wanted, as Matt said, like a console for Christmas, things like that. So it's been around for a while, but as far as from a competitive standpoint, where people realize they can start making careers out of this, probably like early 2000s.
I think as someone on the stage who doesn't come from the gaming community, as these three gentlemen do, I think about from a mainstream perspective, the Ninja, Drake, Juju Schuster, Travis Scott collaboration really kind of catapulted gaming into a different realm from subculture to culture. And now you're seeing, you're winning an ESPY, right? You're seeing Ninja and PewDiePie. I had to slowly do that on the cover of Time as part of Time's 100 most influential people. So you're starting to see kind of that tipping point. You have an episode of the Simpsons on League of Legends. So you're starting to really see this subculture really kind of coming into its own as part of mainstream culture. And being a gamer doesn't have this stigma to it. It's actually people have a shared love of gaming, and that's really being celebrated.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, what's fascinating to me, I played in my first tournament competition over 25 years ago. My mother took me to that gaming competition the same way she took me to soccer practice, baseball practice. So what I love is that I feel like every 3 to 5 years there's another moment that's eclipsed all the previous moments. What I really hold near and dear are moments like that. Going to my first LAN party, going to my first tournament, meeting people. Heather Grazo, she'll all be Heather known to me. We grew up 20 miles apart. We played Counter-Strike together. Her brother was the team captain on my first team. So it's just like moments like that bring people together. Some are very personal, some are very dorky, but I'm always looking forward to those big moments. Ninja, seeing eSports and the ESPY Awards. I want more and more of those moments so that we can all kind of share our personal moments together.
Brian, you have anything to add?
No, I was actually going to bring up the Ninja Drake, diving in and really making it very much talked about in all of the publications beyond just your traditional eSports channels.
You can forget Marshmallow in Fortnite, like a live concert in a video game that more people watched on VOD than they did in the actual game. 10 million people watched it live. That's crazy.
So, and Eryn, you've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but how has gaming become the next subset of entertainment?
I think what's really interesting, if you look at the numbers, the subscribers on YouTube and Twitch trump what you see in Netflix and HBO, ESPN, Spotify, and that really showcases that the numbers are there. I think because of the fact that you look at Hollywood blockbuster films and you think about that, it's been around for so long, whereas gaming has been kind of stereotypically, I'll do this personally, you're in your mom's basement playing video games, and like that's not true. That there's so many people who are out there in gaming, whether it's a mobile game and you're playing Candy Crush on your way on the subway in New York City, or you're in a college dorm and everybody's playing Madden. So I think if you look at the numbers are really starting to showcase that it's really the time to start.
And I think too, specifically with professional sports teams and leagues jumping into the space as a whole, it's starting to tip from just your traditional gaming group to traditional sports fans who are starting to use 2K, 2K League, Madden as a transition into the broader esports space. So I think it's an exciting time in that regard.
Yeah, I think for me it's becoming a new pastime. Someone else brought up earlier. Kids are growing up as a pastime in equally, and it should be equal to physical recreational sports. So I think it's something that's becoming a pastime, and now it's evolving to the point where gamers can be influential because everyone has gaming as a shared pastime, or majority of people have had a Nintendo or some sort of console in their household.
That leads us into our next one, this tipping point of technology and the influence of technology. How has it influenced this industry?
I'll jump in. I think technology is becoming a part of our lives, and in addition to all the utility it brings us, I think we as people are naturally always seeking entertainment and connection in ways to prove our worth, or sometimes our superiority. So competition grew from technology in the form of games, and I think in my opinion, although there were the arcades that came out in the 80s, I think it was really PC gaming culture, the ability to connect over a modem, connect over that higher speed internet, that really brought competitive gaming to the forefront. Because even though I would say, being a college here, early STEM type students were probably the first to embrace LAN parties and embrace learning about modems. It's something that became easier and easier to get into. So because of technology is what brought these interests together and let people who had maybe different interests than field and grass or sports that involved objects, it allowed people to explore their imaginations and still be using their imaginations.
And so too, as we look at consumption of esports and traditional sports, I think esports is really starting to kind of influence how traditional sports is reaching the younger consumer, that next generation, and more snackable, bite-sized pieces of content that you see more traditional sports. Magic is starting to transition to, because you're having more and more cord fed and finding ways that are more over the top beyond the traditional cable networks.
I think to build on that, from an entertainment perspective, if you think about the evolution, MTV was the start of pop culture from a linear perspective. It kind of gave way to reality television, and everybody thought they could be on television. To Vine, when Vine existed, everybody all of a sudden, ordinary people became extraordinary creators because here they were turning the cameras on themselves. And the Vine gave way to the YouTube, and there's now like 50 million content creators alone on YouTube. And so the streaming aspect now with Twitch, so all of that technology and the things that we can do, you're carrying a camera with you all the time. And so all of that is the access that it's giving you. It's just opening up the possibilities. Again, whether it's snackable, whether it's in real life, it's just pretty fascinating what the technology is bringing forward.
So thinking of technology, we have the streamers, we have the gamers, but it wouldn't be an industry without the fans. So how are the fans influencing this culture?
I would say the fans are the biggest part, because especially the majority of them are gamers. The majority of the fans play the game, so they know the product well, they know the scene, they know the family that the game aspect brings. And I think the fan base just grows with everything because now with the way, to touch back on technology, is they can keep track of everything on social media. I mean, well, the majority of people who kept track of the hurricane a couple weeks ago was through Twitter, I mean, for at least me. So it's just the way the world is now with the growth in technology. Majority of these different games, whether NBA 2K, Madden, anything, the fan bases are all keeping up with everything, and it's just a growth, you know, from the different prizes, the different locations of tournaments. It just brings a different group of people out every time, and it just continues to grow and grow.
I think the engagement around Twitch streams that we see for the NBA 2K League, it's incredible. People chatting, people spamming their emotes to try and support their team, their favorite players, whatever it is. So it's a far more engaged audience than we would typically see than just turn on a traditional channel, cable, and watching a Magic game. So that's obviously an exciting opportunity.
I think we're seeing, through technology, we're seeing an evolution of fandom. I think fans these days are not content, and it's a generational thing. They're not content with being passive observers. They want some agency into their action. Whether that's fantasy challenges, emoting, showing emotion while watching a broadcast, being able to influence or control what they're seeing. They're not satisfied, and I'm on the cusp of these generation changes. They're not satisfied with just sitting back and watching. Life is too short. I'm aware of all my options now, right? So I want to make sure I am putting my free time to the best use and being the most entertained with the time I have.
So Heather said the landscape earlier about this ecosystem. So if we could kind of unpack that a little bit more about the similarities and dissimilarities between the competitors and gamers in different events and tournaments.
Can you just elaborate more on the question between the competitors?
Sure, the different games. We can talk about a PC and console, for the general audience here.
I mean, PC was probably the originator in competitive games. Most of the competitive games and tournaments are played on PC. However, the similarities all really come down to preparation, I'd say, between all the different games. Any professional, whether League of Legends, NBA 2K, anything like that, the next step to becoming a professional or something like that, I would say, is just the amount of time that you're able to put in. I think for someone like myself, if I'm in like a shooting slump, so to say, I'm missing a lot of shots, I'm going to make sure I either get to practice early or stay later and figure it out, because that's what you do as a professional. You put the work in, you hold yourself accountable, and I think that's really what it is just preparation. We watch a lot of film on our upcoming opponents, similar to real basketball. Just really preparation. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can say as far as competitive gaming goes.
And Tim, when you're competing, have you found any differences regionally? Especially from the fan base.
It's honestly unique because a lot of the messages I receive on social media, they're from different people. I get messages from people in like Australia, New Zealand, and things like that. And the majority of it is I watch your game, I'm on Twitch, and I see what you're doing. Can you give me some tips? Can you tell me what signature jump shot you like to use, or what's your go-to playlist before you get on the game? So just that alone, to know that there's that many people out there that admire our body of work is pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was going to say the similarities. It comes down to culture and motivators. I think the main motivators are people who want to be entertained. They want to get better at the game they play. They want to form a social connection. Some of them want to win fame and fortune. And I think those are the similarities, but how they manifest themselves are different based on cultural influences. I'll give you an example. I think when I think of console gamers and the communities I've worked with, they're also fans of college football, college basketball, WWE. So you see those aspects of culture permeate. For the Madden Championship Series, we don't give out trophies, we don't give out checks. We give out a massive WWE style belt, right? And we present it out in a ceremony. We have the guy hold it up and wear it. That decision was made by observing the culture and what resonates well in sports culture. I would say on a PC culture, you see influences from more international, the Asian gaming markets, anime, the League of Legends Championship Series. When I worked on the game many years ago, when we brought in ceremonial things, we brought in influences from Asia, we brought in the animated opening. So you just see all these an interesting mixture of these cultures come together to present the sport, to present all these emotions and motivators.
And Ryan, have you seen any difference in the fans, like regionally here in Florida compared to other parts of the U.S.?
No, not too great of a difference. I think kind of NBA 2K is a great unifier, just around the game, the passion for the game. I think as you look at the fan base, one of the cool things is they have an opportunity to aspire to play in the 2K League and play professionally. It was never an opportunity that was given to them. To emulate players like Tim and be looking at, how can I better myself, how can I better my game, and I think that's pretty much universal.
Heather also set the tone of differentiating streamers and gamers. So Eryn, if you could remind us of those differences, but then also tell us how they have become influencers in this space.
When you think about gamers and streamers, a lot of what we used to call them at Vision when we had one of the teams is that our gamers or our players, we call them podium players, those are the ones who, their job is to compete. Your job is to compete. That's how you're making money. It doesn't mean you don't stream. But that's not his priority. He's not there to kind of entertain the audience like someone like a Tifu or a Shroud. And so when you think about the streamers, they're literally on 8 hours a day streaming, whether it's Fortnite, Apex. And so the streamers are doing it from an entertainment perspective, whereas the gamers oftentimes are much more focused on the competition. And again, do stream, but that's their focal point. I think you would agree.
Yeah, I think from an influencer standpoint, it's a little bit of both. You kind of have to be obviously somewhat skilled at the game. However entertaining, at the end of the day, people are turning on Twitch and these different streaming platforms to essentially watch you because it's what they're interested in and what they want to be entertained by. The same way people turn on television to watch traditional sports because that's what they're into. So when people come to your channel on Twitch, they usually want to see either phenomenal gameplay or someone who's probably bad but makes pretty good jokes on themselves, you know what I mean? Someone that's entertaining, that can make you laugh. If you're having a bad day, let me tune into this person's channel. Let me go in there into their chat, as Ryan said, put their emotes in there, let you know that they're there, let you know that they're there supporting and things like that. So I think that's really the biggest part of being an influencer is just personality.
And I think I forgot one part of that question. Sorry to jump in this. But with regard to streamers, if you think about YouTube influencers right now, of the top 10 money makers, 5 of them are gamers. And that's amazing. We think about the number of YouTube people out there who are streaming content, that of the top 10, 5 are gamers. Not gamers from a competition perspective like the professional players, but all they do is stream games. And so that's just showing case of you how much they influence, because YouTube influencers, whether they're content creators or those who play games, are having such a massive effect on society, even more so than celebrities at this day and age.
Kind of like what Tim said, it's hard to be a creator, it's hard to be a streamer, it's a grind. Ninja didn't just happen overnight. It took him years to build his platform. So it takes time, and there comes a point that you have to kind of pick if you want to be more professional and work towards becoming a professional player in a league or for a team, or you want to go more of the content creation route. A lot of that has to do with your personality and just kind of where you typically would naturally fall. But it's not an easy thing, so that choice does have to get made at some point.
Now, each of you represent a different organization. So what kind of directs the creative direction that each of your organizations take?
For myself, like for us in Cleveland, we have a lot of different partnerships. So normally I spend a lot of my time while I'm in Cleveland doing different either appearances or different videos and content creation for our partners. One of our partners is Hot Pocket, so I had to do like a really cheesy video, like eating a Hot Pocket and dripping all over the place. We have like Rocket Mortgage, we have Goodyear, so there's a lot of times, I'm out on the Goodyear blimp doing stuff there. That's really all it's about, is just, again, with the way technology is now, just digital interaction on Twitter, Instagram, likes, follows, comments, replays, things like that. So majority of the time, if I'm not obviously, practicing to get better at my craft, is just pumping out as much content to the people who actually support us and follow our background.
I think from the team side that I've worked on with Counterlogic Gaming and Echo Fox, it was about setting up what is our brand narrative. who are we as a brand, whether it be collectively as a unit, and then those as individual players who are betting and expressing them. And it is about, you know, the likes and the shares and actual social reach, because that helps bring in the brand sponsors, which helps with the money. From the entertainment side, for us right now, we're all about what kind of programming are we generating that's going to get people to build our audience, that then will get people to be fans, that will buy in into what it is that we're building from a network perspective. But again, it all goes back into what are the metrics and your KPIs that are still going to be really important.
Yeah, so we have a dedicated creator on the Magic Gaming side named Chris Bell. So he leads a lot of the general content creation and the brand direction. But then, you know, being a part of the Orlando Magic, a wholly owned subsidiary, we're able to tap into the broader Orlando Magic organization, which is obviously very helpful as we're a smaller group. There's 5 of us from a full-time staff perspective. So being able to tap into that bigger reach to increase our output is super helpful.
When we think of content on Madden and the Madden Championship Series, I have 2 main pillars. One is teaching the game of Madden, and the second is growing the love of football. So teaching the game of Madden, again, one of the top motivators for watching any sort of esports content is being better at the game you play. It's a motivator that when we pull players or studies, we find that almost the majority of them have that. They want to be better at the game. They don't necessarily want to be world-class competitors like Tim, but they want to beat their friends. They want to achieve, hit an Xbox achievement, etc. So the content that performs the best for us is content that helps teach the game, reveal the latest tips and tricks, who's the best team, what's the Chiefs play. And then on the second vertical really has to do with our partnership with the NFL and their sponsors. We're going to grow the love of football and have Madden feel as integrated into the sport as possible. So you see us creating content for NFL sponsors, which are our sponsors, such as Pizza Hut, Starbucks, Snickers. We actually custom branded one of our stadiums that we use for competition. It's the first naming rights deal in esports for stadium. It's called Pizza Hut Stadium. So much like any other physical sponsorship, the same kind of tenets and exposure apply. But at the same time, while we branded the in-game stadium, we also brand our event experiences by having Starbucks gamer lounges and things. So we create content around that as well for the audience online.
Okay, great, thanks. So while none of us are fortune tellers up here, and the space is constantly changing, where is the space of entertainment and gaming next year?
As far as next year, I mean, the sky's really the limit. Again, different games and different professional titles are signing different partnerships with different brands, different streaming platforms, different clothing brands, a lot of different in-game merchandise, cosmetics. So there's really no limit. I think eventually you will see some type of maybe virtual reality as far as even sports titles go. But I don't really think that there's a limit to anything. As I said earlier, just now, the SBs have an eSport award, so that's the first time, and more than likely we'll be there again next year, and just something to build off of there. So, with the way that the world is going and the way that the technologies is advancing overnight, I don't think it's really. I don't think you can really cap esports at any scale. I think it's just going to continue to grow.
I think, we talk about esports very broadly, but I think it goes back to each of these games has its own individual culture, because if you ask that answer to me years ago working on League of Legends, or ask it to someone working on NBA 2K, the answer's going to be different, because you're going to want to choose, you're going to want to put your bet on the experience that you think your audience will most enjoy, but also help you grow an audience. So I would say on Madden, I'm always thinking about how do we connect to the latest NFL innovations, what are some of the hot social media platforms. I'll give an example, when we first started running tournaments, we actually started using Twitter as a means of organizing and communicating tournament results and reporting match scores, and that's a tool I didn't have years ago, and I certainly didn't use on League of Legends or Counter-Strike, but it was native to those players. Everyone had a phone on them while they were playing Madden. But we've made shifts to use Discord as a communication tool in addition to Twitter. We use Discord for longer conversations, Twitter for shorter 280 character conversations, right? So year over year, you're fighting you're looking for a lot of little micro innovations. You're not necessarily looking for the home run, but you're looking for that thing that makes your life a little bit easier, or you think helps you raise your metric, that 5 to 10% more.
I think as we look at the space as a whole, I would guess there would probably be a little bit more consolidation as organizations, franchising and what titles are doing now with having more dedicated franchises, more similar to the NFL and NBA. I think the price points of those franchises are going to start to weed out a lot of the smaller traditional esports teams. So as the space continues to grow in a much more professional direction, was the Wild West just a few years ago, starting to kind of become a little bit more corporate, a little bit more professional sports-esque, which is exciting, but very exciting at the same time. So I think we'll start to see some of that kind of continued elevation in the space as a whole as the money continues to flow in and hopefully eyeballs continue to grow.
I think from an entertainment perspective, the Marshmallow Fortnite concert was really cool and innovative, and seeing what you can do in the game. Maybe in Madden, I don't know, the uniforms are revealed in the video game first. I mean, I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But I think things that we can be done within the game, just saying, things that we can do within the game, I think you're going to start to see people play with that a little bit more. I also think you're going to start to see more platforms come to StarPress. I mean, everybody's still trying to figure out what to do with TikTok. And so how do we monetize that? It's another short form kind of video. We're going to put music videos, but now it's become something else. So I think I'm super excited for where the technology is going and where this kind of, as a newly formed digital entertainment network, where is that aggregator of entertainment for all of gaming, and what do we produce as a network? So I think there's lots to happen in the next year for sure.
Well, Tim, Eryn, Ryan, and Matt, thank you for being culture builders.